Good morning. Today we have many important topics on our agenda, including trade relations with India and China and trade relations with the U.S. Important item is the meeting we have with U.S. Secretary of Commerce Lutnick and USTR Greer. U.S. is our biggest trading partner and a very important strategic partner as well. This dialogue is an important opportunity to exchange views and discuss the implementation of political agreement on tariffs from July and August, which is very important for our businesses on both sides of the Atlantic. Thank you.
A question maybe on the U.S. relation? Bring tariffs on U.S. industrial goods as planned, while the U.S. didn't move on steel and aluminum, for instance.
I think we all need to keep what was agreed and work on that. It's a good base.
Minister, do you have a chance for another question?
Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. There are a lot of topics this morning, obviously, and let me start from the meeting that we will have with our American colleagues that are visiting EU today, and I'm really looking forward in discussing our agenda of cooperation, transatlantic agenda of economic security. That is something that we have to work on and build right now. We cannot be in the permanent fixing phase. We have to have the normal agreement on steel and aluminium and work on it. We have to implement swiftly what was agreed back in August, and that is what I'm really looking into. And then we have to prioritize our tasks. And of course, the very urgent one is to build the strategy and right decisions on pushing back China's offensive economic policies, coercive policies, absolutely unfair control of exports of rare earths and other goods that are needed for our industries. If we are not doing this, we will be lost, be it here in Europe or be it within the transatlantic community. So this is the time right now to push back on China and do it together with American friends. Second big thing for Lithuania, and I will use my opportunity to inform again Council on the developments with our border with Belarus. We are under combined attack that is coming from Belarus. One is the hybrid instrumentalization of meteorological balloons that are used to that are sent into our airspace, violates our airspace and disrupts the civil aviation. More than 30,000 passengers were affected, more than 1,000 last night, and more than 200 flights were redirected. We cannot function normally what concerns connectivity. So this is one line of attack. The other line of attack is seizing our trucks and semi-trailers in Belarus and blackmailing us and putting pressure on our economy. So this combined attack has to be met with response from European Union, because European Union is under, and its member state is under economic pressure. And that is what the European Union has to do, protect its member states, protect its companies, protect the property of its companies. And the way to do it is to impose more sanctions on Belarusian economy, on trade, and on the representatives of the regime. So this will be the call from Lithuania. Third big block, of course, that we will discuss, that is European economic security policy. We're looking for the doctrine to come up and for the very exact measures and instruments how we will protect ourselves, what concerns the competitiveness of ours and reducing the vulnerabilities of our industries. Because once again, this is the very priority now within the trade policies and within the industrial policies of Europe. And Lithuania is one of the countries that is already implementing the best practices, and we're looking forward to expand it.
Do you expect pressure from your U.S. counterpart given that the tariff deal has to be?
I think that we will discuss where we are, what concerns implementation of our joint statement coming from August, and there are many still things that are uncovered, and one of them, as that I already mentioned, that is the steel and aluminium, and of course the other thing that is very high on agenda for every member state, that is the exemptions from the tariff that was agreed. So we have to fix those small details and concentrate on the large ones.
What's a priority for you? What is a priority for you, for your country?
What concerns exemptions?
For exemptions on steel?
Yes, of course, we're very interested in agreement on steel and aluminium. We have producers that suffer now with the extra tariffs. Second big area for Lithuania, that is the life sciences, and that is our cooperation with United States, the largest market in life sciences and biotechnology, and we see it as one of the fields where we have to build a strategic partnership with United States. So we have the strong arguments why it shouldn't be protected with the tariffs on both sides.
Minister, what's your reaction to talks in Geneva over the weekend? We've seen a very critical moment for Ukraine.
We remain consistent on the very principles how the long-lasting peace has to be achieved. First of all, we have to agree on fundamentals. We have to commit to fundamentals. And those fundamentals are sovereignty, territorial integrity, and independence of Ukraine. And if we put the theft of territory into any agreement, this is the betrayal of international law. And no one can trust in the future that aggression won't be repeated at the very same place or in any other direction, be it other smaller countries that are in the neighborhood of Russia. So fundamentals, first of all, whether they are protected or not. The second big part is accountability. from what I read, when I see the word amnesty to the war crimes, this hits the red lamp into many heads, in mine too. So accountability is important for the crime of aggression, for war crimes that were committed within the Ukraine territory, for abduction of children, for destruction of the property, and then for the abduction of civilians. So everything has to be put back where it belongs, territory given back to Ukraine, and children returned to their homes. It's the same with civilians, and those that are responsible, they have to be prosecuted. Only then we can speak about accountability that was implemented. Otherwise, it is impunity. And we know what impunity brings. Impunity brings more aggression. And with Russia, that's the rule. That was proven so many times previously. But if there is the progress, as the parties are signaling us and reporting, of course we commend it, that the talks are progressively improving, and looking forward to also for Europe to step in those parts that cannot be discussed without Europe. That is the European security. We know what Russia wants. Russia wants to dismantle NATO. Russia wants to push out Americans from Europe, to review the security architecture. And we have to be there where it is discussed, and especially with our allies and partners. So as the process is starting, it's good that we once again have the process, but we cannot forget what is really important. And what is really important for today, that's the ceasefire. Russia has to agree with the unconditional ceasefire, as Ukraine did more than 250 or 60 already days ago. Thank you all.
Good morning. I'm delighted to chair this trade ministers meeting today, where we have many important items on the agenda. I would say most importantly, of course, our trade relation with our American friends, where I'm very delighted that U.S. State Secretary Lutnick and Trade Representative Greer have accepted an invitation for an informal lunch, where we will take state on the trade relations and discuss how we can fulfill the implementation of the joint statement and stabilize trade relations between Europe and US, but it's also a great opportunity to discuss problems we have in common, the global trade system, China, etc. So I'm looking very much forward to that, and I want to remind everybody that the transatlantic trade is of great importance. We are by far the world's biggest trade bloc, so to speak. So we should move forward, and I think the joint statement from this summer have made it possible for us to stabilize transatlantic relations. So I hope we can have a very constructive dialogue today. Of course, we will come back to you later when we have had the informal lunch. But we also have to discuss other important things, not least how we can continue diversifying our trade relations. There's a lot of important ongoing negotiations with partners across the world, so we will discuss that as well. Among them, of course, India, where we are making progress. I think I will limit myself to these few remarks.
Do you expect any pressure from your U.S. counterparts, given that the tariff deal hasn't been fully implemented yet?
Well, I think I will not announce what I predict, We have invited Lutnick and Greer. I'm very, very delighted that they have accepted our invitation. I think this setting, an informal lunch among ministers and them, is a very, very nice setting for discussions. There have been obstacles, it's obvious for everybody, but I think it is important to look forward and remind everybody that US and Europe will lose a lot if we do not, combine forces. Thank you.
What are you planning?
Godmorgen.
Godmorgen.
Ja.
Godmorgen, Lars Løkke. Jeg vil gerne starte med at spørge dig ind til den mødeaktivitet, der er omkring Ukraine i de her dage. Der var møde i Genève i går. Vi hører din kollega Marco Rubio sige, at det har været den mest produktive dag med parterne i forhold til at skabe fred i Ukraine. Det er jo endemålet. I den forbindelse kunne jeg så godt tænke mig at høre dig. Hvordan ser du på det, der foregår i øjeblikket? Og tror du reelt på, at det her forsøg på at skabe fred, det vil gøre en forskel?
Jeg tror, vi befinder os i en skæbnestime. Det er helt åbenlyst, at amerikanerne med præsidenten i spidsen gerne vil have det afsluttet. Det ønsker vi jo alle. Det ønsker ukrainerne også, det ønsker Europa også. Men det er jo nødt til at være på en ordentlig måde, hvor vi ikke bare får fred i betydningen fravær af krig for en stund, men får sikkerhed for, at den fred, der sænker sig, det er en fred, der holder. Og der er det jo helt åbenlyst, at nogle af de ting, vi så fra de her lækkede dokumenter, gjorde os meget, meget alvorlige. Og det er jo også i det lys, at der har været udfoldet et kæmpe arbejde de sidste døgn for at søge indflydelse på det her. En tæt dialog med Ukraine. Vores statsminister selv deltaget med Zelensky. Jeg selv har flere samtaler med den ukrainske udenrigsminister. Det er rigtig, rigtig godt, at man fik udvirket det møde, der fandt sted i Genève i går blandt National Security Advisors med også Marco Rubio. Og som jeg forstår det, så er der jo også sket forbedringer. For eksempel at hele det der spørgsmål, der relaterer sig til EU og NATO, det er helt klart selvfølgelig et spørgsmål, som ikke kan håndteres mellem USA og Rusland, eller mellem USA, Rusland og Ukraine, men som kræver europæisk engagement. Men altså, jeg tror, det er for tidligt endnu at gøre sig sådan meget præcise antagelser om, hvordan det her ender.
Amerikanerne, de tror på, at det her forsøg, det siger de i hvert fald udadtil, det kommer til at gøre en forskel. Kigger man så bare på de her to forskellige planer, det ene et læk, og det andet er det, der er kommet fra europæisk side, så står parterne jo meget langt fra hinanden. Hvordan ser du på det? Altså, I siger jo også fra europæisk side, I tror ikke på, at Putin vil freden. Det tror de så åbenbart på den anden side af Atlanten. Kommer det til at ændre noget af det her? Altså, tror du på, at det her forsøg, det kommer til at føre til, at der kommer en våbenhvile eller på sigt en fredsaftale i Ukraine?
Det kan man jo håbe. Altså vores læsning har jo hele tiden været, at vi vil gerne en våbenhvile. Ukraine vil gerne en våbenhvile. Amerikansk præsident har argumenteret for en våbenhvile i mange, mange måneder. Den eneste, der har stillet sig hindrende i vejen for det er Putin. Hvis amerikanerne har en vurdering af, at han kan presses væk fra den position, så er det jo glædeligt. Og derfor byder vi selvfølgelig også velkommen, at den amerikanske præsident har et engagement i den her sag, og det er stort. Men det må selvfølgelig ikke omtætte sig i, at man så bare akkommoderer et hvilket som helst maksimalistisk russisk ønske, for at man sådan formelt kan hakke af og sige, nu fik vi så en fred. For igen, altså en fred, der bare er fravær af en krig for en stund, er ikke en rigtig fred. Og det er jo derfor, det er vigtigt, at vi gør to ting. For det første i forhold til Ukraine, for at understrege, det gør vi også på udenrigsministermødet sidste uge, at vi er der. At vi arbejder ufortrødent videre med de idéer, vi har om at sikre også finansiel støtte til Ukraine, fordi vi ved, at der er ingen, der er bedre til at forsvare Ukraine end Ukraine selv, hvis ellers de har de økonomiske ressourcer til det. Det er den ene ting, og den anden ting er, at vi læner os ind i forhold til vores amerikanske venner med de her stærke synspunkter. Også for at sikre os, at det vidensgrundlag, man forhandler på, det er korrekt.
Er det en fornemmelse, at de rent faktisk bliver lyttet? Der bliver lyttet til europæerne den her gang?
Man kan jo se, der har været en udvikling, altså fra for få dage siden, at der var sådan en ensidig amerikansk tanke og en deadline, der hed St. Given's Day, til at der nu trods alt er etableret et forum. Og det møde, der fandt sted i Genève i går, og vel også en lille smule mere ro på St. Giving, og det vil jo være fint, men det kan jo ikke være det, der er det afgørende. Altså fordi hvis man foriver sig på at nå et eller andet resultat, som man kan tikke en boks af, altså så risikerer man jo, at det sker på nogle konditioner, som ikke er i orden.
Altså måske et par ord om dine forventninger til mødet i dag med Lutnick and Greer. Ja. Og særligt måske på ståltolden, som vi jo havde forventet skulle sænkes, og som jo også rammer danske virksomheder i øjeblikket, fordi at vi ser flere og flere ting, der bliver omfattet af en sådan rimelig arbitrær ståltold. Hvad forventer du, at de kan få ud af mødet med de to i dag?
Ja, hvad forventer jeg, hvad jeg håber jeg, det er måske ikke nødvendigvis helt det samme. Altså først og fremmest er jeg jo rigtig, rigtig glad for, at Lutnick har taget imod den her invitation, og det er så også fulgt op med Greers deltagelse, så vi får en mulighed for at være i et rum med to meget vigtige partnere i forhold til det her. Vi har jo ikke ønsket nogen handelskrig. Vi ønsker at uddybe den transatlantiske relation. Vi er glade for det her joint statement, det skal implementeres, og du peger jo rigtig nok på, at et af de problemer, det er, at det her toldbegreb, det bliver lidt udvidet, ikke? Og man skal også indkalkulere toldværdien i en kagedåse fra Danmark og sådan noget. Altså, det er lidt noget rod. Det ser vi gerne anderledes, og det kommer selvfølgelig også til at fremføre. Overfor det står så, amerikanerne har ønsker, der knytter sig til Europa, som ikke har ret meget med handel at gøre. Indretning af hele vores digitale lovgrundlag med videre, så jeg ved ikke, om det lige er i dag, vi får de store gennembrud. Vi kan vende tilbage til det efter frokosten. Altså først og fremmest så ser jeg det som et positivt tegn, at både Lutnick og Greer møder op her i Bruxelles i dag til en åben, uformel og forhåbentlig også åbenhjertig drøftelse. Og det tror jeg på. Lutnick har jeg mødt nogle gange, og det plejer at være meget ligefremt.
Kommer I til at diskutere Ukraine også med de amerikanske kolleger i dag?
Nej, det forestiller mig faktisk ikke. I hvert fald ikke så langt, at jeg kan styre mødet. Og det er ikke, fordi Ukraine ikke er vigtigt, men det er en anden ramme. Altså, det er handelsministeren, der mødes her i dag. Og bortset fra mig og en 2-3 kolleger, så er det sådan rundt omkring i Europa, der er handelsministerne dedikerede handelsminister, så det er jo ikke i den forstand et udenrigsministermøde. Så jeg tror også, man skal passe på, at der ikke kommer for mange kokke ind omkring kogepladerne. Altså, det diskuterer vi nogle andre rammer i kredsen af fagministre. Vi har også meget, meget tæt kontakt i NB8-formatet, hvor der også udgik en erklæring på statsministerniveau her i weekenden. Så i dag skal vi virkelig, tror jeg, altså fokusere på handel, og primært USA, men jo også andre ting. Altså fordi, når der er en dør, der lukker sig, så er der andre, der åbner sig. En kæmpe interesse derude. Vi oplevede det også, da vi havde gæster her i bygningen i fredags rundt omkring på at udvide handelssamarbejdet med Europa. Vi har en Mercosur-aftale, vi jo meget, meget gerne vil skubbe helt over dørtasken under dansk formandskab. Vi har frihandelsforhandlinger med Indien. Der sker rigtig mange positive ting, og det skal vi selvfølgelig også vende, men altså, det er en sjælden lejlighed, at vi har de her 2 amerikanske repræsentanter i byen, så det er det, vi skal fokusere på.
Absolutely unfair control of exports of and other goods that are needed for our industry. If we are not doing this, we will be lost.
Dzień dobry, witam Państwa serdecznie. Tak, dobrze, już teraz jest lepiej. Witam Państwa serdecznie. Spotykamy się Dzisiaj odbywa się spotkanie ministerialne ministrów handlu. Mamy kilka ważnych punktów. Będziemy rozmawiać o negocjacjach, na przykład z Indiami. Będziemy rozmawiać o wyzwaniach w handlu z Chinami. I też bardzo ważny punkt będzie na temat relacji ekonomicznych i handlowych ze Stanami Zjednoczonymi. Spotykamy się z sekretarzem Lutnickiem i USTR-em Greer, gdzie spojrzymy, gdzie jesteśmy w implementacji naszego porozumienia i jak pójść z tym dalej.
Czy będzie jakaś presja, żeby cła, które są jednak wysokie na stal i aluminium, które nie zostały zniesione, żeby zostały jakoś zniesione?
Ze strony europejskiej jak najbardziej podkreślimy to, że również na stal i produkty stalowe powinny cła być obniżone do poziomu 15%, że jest to utrzymanie tego na tak wysokim poziomie i jest wbrew przynajmniej pewnemu duchowi tego porozumienia.
Polskie firmy jakoś na tym ciągle cierpią?
Oczywiście, wszystkie firmy europejskie, w tym polskie, też na tym cierpią z tego powodu i znowu jest to coś, do czego powinniśmy dojść w duchu wzajemnego porozumienia. Znowu Amerykanie pewnie będą nas naciskali, żebyśmy szybciej jako Unia Europejska implementowali to porozumienie.
Na agendzie są też trwające negocjacje z innymi krajami. Też pan minister wspomniał o Indiach, ale nadal niezakończony jest proces, jeżeli chodzi o zatwierdzanie umowy z Mercosurem. Czy Polska nadal liczy, że uda się zbudować większość blokującą z innymi krajami?
Spotykam się dzisiaj z ministrem do spraw handlu Francji. Prezydent Macron w ciągu ostatnich kilku dni bardzo mocno mówił o sprzeciwie Francji przeciwko porozumieniu z Mercosurem w obecnej formie. Zupełnie nie wykluczam, że Francja będzie głosowała przeciwko. Dowiem się, co myśli minister, przekażę nasze stanowisko, które jest jasno zdefiniowane. Będziemy głosować przeciw, pomimo porozumieniom, safeguardom, które zostały wprowadzone i zobaczymy, czy Francja pozostanie na tym, będzie głosowała nadal, tak jak mówi o tym prezydent Macron, przeciwko porozumieniu.
Ale nadal Francja nie wystarczy do tego, żeby zablokować tę umowę.
Ale niewiele się dzieje w Unii, kiedy dwa duże kraje jak Francja i Polska są przeciwko tak ważnemu porozumieniu. Sure. Good to see you.
Good to see you. What do you expect to achieve today besides each side airing their irritants? I mean, do you expect any breakthrough?
With Americans? I expect that we'll first send a clear signal that we are maintaining the momentum in implementing the joint statement. I expect that we'll also talk about bigger picture, not only about bringing, for example, steel tariffs to 15%, but also look together at challenges of overproduction coming from third countries. Again, we are also in a very important moment in transatlantic relations when it comes to political affairs. We are all watching very closely what's going on in Geneva. And here it's clear that our economic and political relations have to go hand in hand.
Speaking of Geneva, the big picture, given that now we are again very much dependent on the U.S. support for our view for the peace process in Ukraine, I mean, does that limit our room for maneuver in the trade talks?
I would flip it. Actually, I think there is no stable and just peace in Ukraine without European involvement. We are the biggest provider of financial aid to Ukraine. We are the biggest provider also of military aid. It's clear that Europe will have to be part of the solution. Not only it's in our interest, because it's European security that is at stake in Ukraine, but it's also in the interest of our American allies and, of course, Ukrainian allies to make sure that Europe is firmly behind the solution.
Czy można prosić po polsku komentarz do planu, który został napisany, ten pierwotny, nie mówię o europejskim, z pominięciem Europy?
Europa, abyśmy zobaczyli prawdziwy pokój w Ukrainie, Europa nie tylko musi być konsultowana, ale musi być częścią tego porozumienia. To Europa jest największym gwarantem, jeżeli chodzi o pomoc ekonomiczną, ale również wojskową Ukrainie, więc bez Europy to porozumienie po prostu nie będzie miało szansy funkcjonować. Powinno zależeć nam na tym nie tylko nam i oczywiście naszym ukraińskim partnerom, ale również partnerom amerykańskim.
Minister, what are you going to do about U.S. steel and aluminium derivative tariffs? I mean, if they don't change, what will happen?
Look, this is why we are having this lunch meeting. This is one of the specific points we're going to be raising. I'm sure that Secretary Lutnick and USTR Greer want to talk also about the bigger picture. What we are clearly seeing, especially looking at over the last month, when China put the big gun of dependencies, both American dependencies and European dependencies on rare earth metals, that we need to work together on this. So getting steel tariffs to 15% is part of implementing our joint statement. It's very much in the spirit that the joint statement was prepared.
Not in the text.
It's not, but it's in the spirit of getting to 15%. So steel is an important category. It's also very, as we all know, we want to simplify our trade, and you tell me exactly how much steel is in this iPhone or this microphone and how much tariffs there should be on those products.
Do you think the U.S. is struggling to implement those tariffs? And indeed,
one of my questions to our American friends.
If they don't reduce the steel tariffs, I mean, are we willing to react, given that, I mean, again, we need them for the Ukraine peace process and the security guarantees in Europe?
I'm not willing to say what we would be doing if they don't go that way. This is why we are meeting today. Perhaps after the meeting, we can debrief a little bit how far we are moving with this discussion. And again, you are asking about our dependence on America, but I would clearly say that it is, given that it's very important for President Trump, for American people to reach a stable, just peace in Ukraine, they are in fact dependent on European involvement and our contribution to economic prosperity and military support for Ukraine. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Shanghai.